Hello everybody, welcome to Odoride YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to talk about Nodemon. So I'm going to explain to you how to set up Nodemon and how to use Nodemon in your backend. So, before we start, I would like to tell us the reason why we're using Nodemon. So, before using Nodemon, let me say you install your Express.js library into our backend. So as soon as we install it in our backend, if we are to run our server, after running our server, and we feel like we want to adjust something in our code, we will have to stop that server before that code can reflect, before something can be updated. And on a norms, it looks somehow and it look really stressful for us to just have to wait for a for us to just have to stop a server and restart the game because we just made changes. So in order for us to solve that problem, that's the reason why we introduced it to Nodemon. So Nodemon automatically refresh our backend server as soon as we want make changes on our code. So I'll share my screen for us right now. So I'll put us through on how to install and use Nodemon. So here we are in my screen. So first of all, I'm going to uh, initialize my folder. So I'll come to this drop down and select command prompt. Please don't select terminal unless it's no work. So I'll come to command prompt and do npm -y. So I've done npm -y. So after that, run npm init. So after doing npm init, then I'm going to come into my terminal again and run this command npm install express. So after installing express, it is still loading like this. It is still loading. You can forward this video if you are not patient enough to wait till it's finished. So our express is done installing. The next thing is to install Nodemon. npm install Nodemon. So our Nodemon is also loading. So our Nodemon is loading. It should not take, yeah, congratulations. So our Nodemon has finally installed. So the next thing is to bring this down and let us create. You can see our node module. This is where our express, which is for our backend, and our Nodemon, which is to update our backend. So you already know what this package audition is to track. Is like the about of our whole application. It tells us everything about our application. About using express, and we're also using Nodemon. So and the express, sorry, and the package log.json is also to track and log the version of our express and Nodemon. So without wasting our time, I'll simply go to come here. I want to create a folder called projects. So I'm in project right now and create a file called, let's call the file app. So I'll call the file app.js. Can you see? So now let us write a code that our server will send us a response, so we can use it to test how the Nodemon is going to work. So I'm going to do const express. Please, you can do anything you want, but the main thing is you want to test how the Nodemon is going to work. So you can write any code for your backend or anything you feel like, but I'm just writing this one for us. So const express equals to required, then const app equals to express. You can now do app.get, then our route, after our route, then our request and response. Okay, and we can now come to the place to the section you want to execute, to the code you want to execute. You can now see that our server send the user a response, res.send. You can now see my Nodemon, sorry, my Nodemon is starting every time I think I make I make changes. Anytime I make changes to my code, you can see. So now after this, the next thing is to make our uh app.js listing to a port. So you can now see app.listing. So then we can now say console.log server is what is running now. So I already have this. So now let us now test our Nodemon. So I'll come to my CMD again and make sure I navigate to my project, CD project. So after navigating to CD project, the next thing to do is to do nodemon, then the name of the file. On a normal day, if you're not using nodemon, we're going to say node app.js, but because we're using nodemon, so we're going to say nodemon space app.js. Can you see? So server is running on port 3000. So after having this, you can now go into our browser and okay. So you can now go into our browser and start to run our localhost. So localhost 3000. We can see my Nodemon is restart my server anytime I make changes. Now let us now test it. So I will come into my code. Let me come into my code and make changes. So let me come into my. So I can let me just move changes to. Let me see. Let me change it to I love using Nodemon. So I love using Nodemon. Now let me restart my server. Can you see? I love using Nodemon. You can see how the changes is being made. I can see, come again and change it again to welcome to Express server. Can you see? Welcome to Express server. So let us now try it again. Let us uninstall Nodemon and see what will happen. So let me come to my CMD here and no JavaScript. So I will come here now and uninstall Nodemon. So let me uninstall Nodemon. I'll do npm uninstall Nodemon. So this automatically remove Nodemon. So I will now see if I make changes, if it will later work. So let me come here and make changes. I come to my Express server. So let me come here and can you see? Okay, I'm coming. Oh, let me close this one and rerun it again. It's because this one is still running. Can you see? So let me run my code again one more time. So what I'll do nodemon cd nodemon what app.js. See, that means we have uninstalled Nodemon. That's the reason we are seeing this code. So let me now do node app.js now. So this is it initially after refreshing. So now let me make cd project. You can now see node app.js. So our server is running. So welcome to, now let me make another change. Welcome to Odunrinde. So welcome to Odunrinde. Now can you see no changes is being made because I'm using ordinary Node. I'm using ordinary Express. Can you see it now? Now changes will only be made only if I restart and stop my server. So that is basically for this. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed something down, and if you find this video helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and also comment in case you find anything difficult or you are convinced about one or two things or the other, and also make sure you share. Someone else might find it helpful. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.